If Cam Newton wants Pat McAfee's job, I got news for you, buddy. You ain't earned it.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome into Locked On West Virginia, baby. Well, we're talking about a little bit of an odd topic today. I've got something better coming in a couple hours. Some real good intel, actually, on the basketball team, as a matter of fact. But for now, we're going to talk about Pat McAfee and how Cam Newton believes he should have his job. What the heck is going on there? We'll get to it. Also, we've got 8 West Virginia players named to the Shrine Bowl possible team. Pretty big deal. Maybe not the 8 guys you would expect to be named to this team. So we're going to talk about that as well. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. Going to be brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. And when we talk about 5 Hour Energy, guys, it's the best, right? You want to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Use my promo code Locked On Golf to receive 20% off your first order. Make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. All right, guys. I think the best way for me to explain this is just to read. Let me see. Let me find it here. So Cam Newton on his show, what's it called? 4th and 1 with Cam Newton. They pitched executives a concept on his podcast this week. He encouraged networks to view him as the next Pat McAfee or an all-black Pat McAfee type game day around his talents. I feel like, the way he talks in this is just definitely a slight to Pat McAfee in some ways. Maybe he feels like he doesn't deserve all the praise. I'm not sure. But he said, speaking in third person, give Cam Newton a Pat McAfee deal? Shoot. He said on 4th and 1 podcast, when it comes to box office, I'll show you what box office is. I'll show you all about HBCUs. And while you're talking about content, which one of these members of the media is willing to go into the student section? I am. This is the sweetest gig in sports. Since y'all don't want me, though, I'm cool, Newton said in a nod to ESPN and Fox for not hiring him for either of their college football pregame shows. I want to be part of the Black College Game Day. Did you get all that, guys? It's nice to know that he would be interested in accepting a Pat McAfee-like offer, where he would be licensed, maybe a daily show for wherever, right? Here's the thing, though. Pat McAfee has built one of the most profitable daily shows in the history of what we do, ever. Josh Pate doesn't come close. I don't come close, obviously. Our entire network doesn't come close. Well, I can't say that for sure, but I know we do a lot of views on network-wide. But point being, Pat McAfee is sports media right now, whether people like it or not. He's always catching these curveballs. He's always catching these slights. And I do not still have the hiccups, by the way. Thanks for asking. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a tough situation, because I don't know. I don't want to get myself into trouble here, right? Like, I don't understand why it has to be an all-black deal. Like, just because they didn't invite him on, in my opinion, doesn't mean that it's a race thing. I don't think it's that at all. I do think Cam Newton is talented. And don't get me wrong. But let's talk about what Pat McAfee did to get where he's at. Maybe people forget. First of all, he was a punter in the NFL. A punter. You know how little fanfare punters get? They get 0. They may as well not even play in the NFL. You know how much of a head start you have, Cam Newton? Anyway, just because you're Cam Newton? Coming out of college in Auburn, you had a bigger head start than Pat McAfee probably ever had. Honestly, it just drives me bonkers that Pat catches all this flack. You got the wrestling people that comes after him all the time. Sometimes you've got the people on game day that come after him all the time. Now you've got all these celebrities that always throwing shots at him for his job that he built himself. Pat McAfee built a media empire from scratch. No handouts, no corporate safety net. He started the Pat McAfee Show independently, where he basically was doing daily content like I do on YouTube, and he's built a massive audience through consistency and that charisma that he has. He was out here producing hours of content every single day, engaging with the fans. He turned his platform into a must-watch. ESPN came knocking for $17 million a year, which is probably as much as you made as a quarterback, Cam Newton. So while Cam and his 4th and 1 podcast is solid, don't get me wrong, it is. Pulls good numbers on YouTube, actually. But it's not a daily grind. Newton's still leaning on his NFL fame, right? He's not out here outworking the competition to get a spot like Pat did, in my opinion. McAfee was a proven hit before ESPN ever touched it, before it was ever even considered. He's got 20, 30,000. He's got Kai Cenat numbers, right? Like he does 20, 30,000 people in his chat at a time. Millions of views per episode, dominating the 18 to 50 or 49 demographic. He sets rating records every time he gets on stage almost. And then they set even more ratings when he joined College Game Day. So, yeah, Cam Newton, your podcast is popular for sure, but you're not moving the needle like Pat McAfee's platform ever could or will. So I think Cam, banks on his personality some. Listen, you don't have a track record of consistent game-changing media output to stand behind like Pat does. You got a podcast. It's not the same thing. Pat McAfee is also a Swiss Army knife. Not only can he wrestle and wrestle well, although he's got a lot to learn and he doesn't have the stamina that some wrestlers do. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can wrestle. He can punt. He could probably MMA fight if you gave him enough time to get ready for it. He's a podcaster. He's a live TV personality, a WWE commentator, a college commentator. He could field goal in a pinch. He could probably punt 155 or 60 yards. He retired 5 to 6 years before he even really needed to pursue these ventures. And he's proven that he can adapt to any format and absolutely crush it. Why? Because he's got the most charisma. He's got the most solid resume. He's got a podcast that he turned into a media conglomerate, and he did it on his own, not without a push from being Pat McAfee. There was no Pat McAfee to push. It was just that charisma. So he's shown the range to dominate multiple platforms. Cam Newton has not. He's got an audience draw that is literally a ratings magnet. When he became the addition to College Game Day, he set those records in the 18 to 49 demographic, like I said, last season. Newton's podcast does pretty well, but nowhere near that viewership. So if ESPN or Fox thought Cam McAfee could pull Pat McAfee numbers, he would be hired. I promise you. So, and he's even openly admitted they passed on him for their pregame shows. McAfee was also doing this without leaning on a network. He took a lot of risks, funded his own show, and created a production company that now employs a full team of guys. So I think Cam Newton's podcast is definitely a hit, but it's not an independent empire like Pat's. He's still riding that wave of NFL stardom. Two different things. McAfee redefined sports talk with the vibe that he has as well. Very unfiltered, very raw. Not many people have the balls to say, you know what, ESPN, I'll take your $17 million contract, but only if I can still cuss. Only if I can still talk like I talk and be who I am. He brought a player's perspective with the fans' energy. He's created a format that networks cannot ignore. Obviously, they came knocking, even though he's probably more conservative, and they're definitely liberal, right? just being totally honest. Like, he probably brings more conservative viewpoints to people, and I would definitely say ESPN is more liberal, right? And they came knocking because of his impact. Not saying I support one or the other here. I'm just making my personal viewpoints on it. I do think it was a concession for them to accept Pat McAfee because he doesn't really align with a lot of the stuff that they believe in, right? In my opinion. So, it's not breaking new ground like McAfee. If you look at the volume from McAfee as well, um, he was pushing out big numbers compared to Newton. It's not close. Also, McAfee's deal was daily, every week, week in, week out. Newton doesn't always record daily, from what I understand, although I haven't fact checked that. Maybe he does now. And also, McAfee didn't have the corporate appeal, right? He's rough around the edges. He wasn't a safe bet, right? And so I don't think Newton is either necessarily. He's pretty bold as well. He's definitely polarizing, and he's definitely wacky with the hats and everything. But maybe he's just not what they're looking for, right? Pat McAfee earned this. Cam Newton thinks he deserves it. They're two different things. I don't understand why it has to be all black or all white. This is the last part I wanted to get to here. Let's get the other part of Cam's pitch here that really upset me a little bit, because why does it? I understand if you want to cover HBCUs, fine. They're already there. I think it would be entertaining. I can see that. But I'm not saying you have to limit yourself to just HBCUs. You could do it all. I get the intent. You're highlighting HBCU football. It's definitely a dope concept. Like, I like HBCU football. Definitely have rich traditions. They've got passionate fans. They got the best bands in the world. They definitely have stories that deserve a little more shine, in my opinion. But it doesn't have to be all black or all white. I don't have to has to be defined by race. That's how it feels to me here. I think it's arbitrary and a little divisive. So, I think the natural thing to jump to is if somebody pitched an all white game day, people would flip out, right? So I think we have to just get away from these narratives. It's literally killing our country, man. I hate it. It doesn't have to be about the race. You just may not be their type of guy, right? There are plenty of guys. You can't say ESPN or Fox are racist. I mean, they definitely have look at Randy Moss and all the guys. I mean, they just have so many different types of personalities. And it's not just black or white. We're talking about Indian. They've got everything. So it's just, the internet would implode if the opposite was ever said. And maybe rightfully so. So equality means judging people by their talent, not by their race, right? In my opinion. Cam's got the charisma to lead a show. I believe that. But why limit it to just one racial group, though? You could have a diverse crew, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, and you can celebrate HBCUs together, right? Why not do something that's never been done and bring some white folks or some Asian folks into an HBCU place to talk about it? Maybe that's a travesty to say. I don't know. Plus, from a business standpoint, ESPN's not dumb. Fox isn't dumb. They know an all-black label would spark a lot of controversy and limit viewership, probably. So, the HBCU's football audience is definitely passionate. It's smaller than the Group of Five even, right? Much less the SEC or Big 12 or Big 10 or any of that. So to make a show like that work, you would need a lot of big, broad appeal, not a niche that feels exclusionary. So, look at SEC Nation. It's focused on region and all that, right? Not necessarily race. And it pulls a lot of fans in from all backgrounds. So an HBCU game day could do similar if it's framed as a celebration of culture, not a race-based gatekeeping exercise. And I'm not necessarily saying that's what he meant, but that's how it came across to me. So my final thoughts are, I think Cam's got some big dreams, man. I respect the hustle for sure. Pitching in an HBCU focused game day is bold for sure. I don't understand why Pat McAfee has to be brought into that at all. And he's definitely right. He'd bring some energy to it for sure. He probably would dive into student sections. He'd probably have those crazy hats that he wears. But comparing yourself to Pat McAfee is a huge stretch because Pat McAfee's work ethic, his track record, his market appeal, his pull, his Swiss Army knife, his ability are on another level for a reason. So it's, he's not there yet, in my opinion. And while he's a star for sure, he's not the all big time star that I think Pat McAfee is. So curious what you guys think about it. Do you think Cam's in McAfee's league? Let me know down below in the comments. I would like to know your opinions on this. Should he do an HBCU game day and be all black, or is that missing the mark and possibly creating something that would cause some even more divisiveness? Let me know down below for sure. I definitely think this is a very interesting concept, let's say. Let's go to break. On the other side, we talk about the Shrine Bowl. West Virginia had 8 players named to this. Pretty impressive, to say the least. We talk about it next on Locked On West Virginia. Stick around. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by none other than 5 Hour Energy. And look, we talk about 5 Hour Energy for a reason on here. That's because it's killing it, baby. So right now, time to fuel up and turn it up with 5 Hour Energy. The transfusion, it brings the bold, great ginger and lime flavor for your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies, making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. And let's be honest, guys, some days on the course or off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. I would love to know, what's the wildest shot you've ever made? Was it a total fluke or a well-calculated miracle shot? Has anyone in your golf group ever tried to pull off a ridiculous bet, like a crazy wager on a golf shot or a hole? And did it go down? Did you sink it? I would love to know. Golf is definitely about good times with good people, good flavors, good course. Grape, ginger, and lime flavor now give you the best parts of your clubhouse to go with chasing down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, the number is 5hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your first order. This offer is valid only until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with buddies, trying to turn 18 holes into 36, or what have you, get the energizing boost you need to power through and order transfusion-flavored 5 Hour Energy shots. Do it today. Speaking of shots, in segment 2, let's have a do shot. Let's crack a do as we roll through into the next segment. Oh, man. All right, so I appreciate that, Be Real. Thank you for catching me live, my dude. All right. West Virginia's got some cats on the Shrine Bowl team. I thought it was interesting, the players that were mentioned. So the first step in the process, right, is usually the Shrine Bowl. They put out a list. 8 West Virginia players are going to be on the East-West Shrine Bowl 1000, which is a list that basically take draft-eligible prospects that are being tracked for the game and the draft, right? So, usually they get input from the NFL, they can get college as part of some early scouting. West Virginia has 8 guys. There's a couple on here that maybe you would say, wow, Michael Coach Jr. is number 1. And obviously that makes a ton of sense. He's probably our best player, considering Jamori Robinson's eligibility looks to be up in the air. So that's definitely going to be, let's say, a barrier to him. But either way, he's going to be somebody that's going to get scouted whether he's eligible or not. Obviously, I love Michael Coach Jr. He's an elite lockdown corner with incredible speed, and incredible coverage skills, and a guy that absolutely makes an impact at the collegiate level wherever he's been so far. At Nevada, he had one of the best Pro Football Focus grades in the country. I don't see that changing at all. Number 2 is Jamori Robinson. Obviously, we know Jamori Robinson, 6'5", 250 pounds, elite pass rushing edge who can play outside backer or defensive end. He can do it all. He can do speed to power. He can do straight bull rush. He can do spin moves. He can go up and under. He can do it all. He's one of the best pass rushing prospects in America. And I think if West Virginia gets him eligible, which he does have the best case of all the guys that are going for it, it's going to be a game changer for the defense, because I think if you combine him with what we already have as a pass rush, Braden Siders, Fred Perry coming off the edge is another big one. Absolutely. Don't even forget about him. He's got multiple sacks in his career. Obviously, you've got Marshawn Oxley, who you guys know I'm a big fan of. I love Oxley. I think he may be our second best pass rusher. I really do. So, obviously he's a guy that I'm looking forward to offset Jamori. Eddie Kelly Jr. can obviously offset Jamori as well. No doubt about it. Eddie Kelly Jr. is the guy that you better pay attention to when you're talking about pass rushers. Curtis Jones Jr., Braden Siders, Marshawn Oxley, Keenan Eck. Obviously we talked about Fred Perry. Like all those guys can pass rush in one way or another, one form or another. And that's not even getting to like Taylor Brown, who's a freshman, who I think is going to be pretty good pass rushing wise. And then we haven't even gotten into Adam Tomchek, who was a defensive end. Like there's a few guys here that can pass rush, but overall, man, Chase Wilson's got several sacks in his career. Like there are a ton of dudes on these lists that you look at and think, man, like there's a lot of different pieces they can use to rush the passer. And I'm here for it, man. So obviously, Jamori Robinson, if you can just get him on the field, in my opinion, he immediately turns into the best player on this team and makes possibly the most impactful as well, based on multiple factors, because Devin Grant offsets him so well as a pass rusher. Along with Oxley coming off the edge. Like, I really do believe, and I'm not kidding, guys. When I told you guys when I was making the case about our defense the other day, I really do think pass rush wise and otherwise, like, I think we can have one of the best we've had. So it's going to be interesting. So if Jamori can get eligible, that's a big one. Let's go to one more break really quick. I think it's just we don't have an ad read. So we'll be right back in 6 seconds. We'll finish this list up. This is Locked On West Virginia. All right, back here, Locked On West Virginia, guys, and we're talking Shrine Bowl. So, number 3, Carson Lee, guys, is on this list. And I've told you guys, don't count him out in the center competition, and don't count him at either guard spots either. He can play either or. He's a 6'3", 330-pound, 320-pound monster. Let me see if I got some tape on Carson, because, I don't even know if I've shown you guys any, to be honest. And maybe I have. If I have, I don't remember it. Maybe Raven or somebody down below can let me know. But have I shown any tape on Carson Lee? I feel like I haven't. If I haven't, then I've done you a disservice. Maybe it's that I can't find any. That could be it. And I could always ask him for some, for sure. He's somebody I talk to, but definitely like Carson a lot. He's a good dude. Let me see if I can find anything of him really quick. Just wanted to give you guys an idea of, what I like about him so much. So not seeing anything here, but as you can see, he is a large individual, and he's got a mean disposition. We had him on the show. If you didn't see that, guys, we interviewed him. There he was when he came to West Virginia. That was on May 25th, it looks like. But yeah, so I know I have tape on this dude.
Head out, head out, head out, head out. All right.
That's from, I don't know when that's from. It's hard to say, but oh, maybe this is somebody else that he was posting. But yeah, I thought I had some Carson Lee stuff. No, that's not him, is it? But I'll tell you what we can do. We can look at Carson Lee, maybe if we pay attention to. So he's the center here, I think. Who are we looking at? Is this Eastern Michigan? Yeah, maybe it's hard to say because I don't know if this guy that they're focusing on is. I don't want to do that. I don't want to say he was number 75. So I guess that's who we'd be looking for. And he wasn't playing on. So this must be a second string guy or something. But sorry guys, I thought I had some Carson Lee stuff, and maybe I don't. I thought I did. There's Donald Trump. I'll get back to you on it. Because I'm a big Carson Lee guy, as I've said a couple different times. We had him on the show, so that definitely makes a difference. But overall, man, this is a dude that I have a ton of respect for. He's on the list for a reason, for the Shrine Bowl, and I definitely think he's got a shot to potentially be. Let's see if we've. Yeah, here we go. I knew I had some stuff from him, so he sent me some video of him. So hey, I'm glad I looked at this. So these are the videos of Carson Lee that I was talking about. This is him at Mississippi State. Are you on here with me? Yeah, you are. So this is him at Mississippi State. Oops. All right. So he's at center here, I believe. Yeah, that's him at center against one of the Mississippi State defensive tackles. As you can see, starting center for Mississippi State. I know why he transferred, but I'm going to let him tell the story if he wants to someday. This is a great block. Look at the footwork, right? 1, 2, and then you got to get that edge, right? So he's number 69 here, but in the center right here. This is a great block, and it's a hard block because can you imagine being lined up like this and having to block the guy to your right? It's not easy, and watch how easily he does it. Takes 2 or 3 steps and gets that great angle. That's a great block and a pancake to finish it against an SEC defensive lineman, by the way. Here he is again, center. Double team, comes off and gets the other block. I mean, that's a nasty looking block, man. So you've got the double team coming off here, and then he works up to the backer. And look at that hole he creates. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. Oops. This is Eastern Michigan stuff. He's number 75 right here. You can tell by the way he's built. He's just built different than everybody else. I thought I'd shown you Carson before, but I knew I hadn't in a while. So as you can see, he moves really well for a guy his size. Nicely done. Nice block. Did you know that he and Man Singleton were teammates? So we actually got 2 players from their school here. Here he is again. Here he is at guard, I believe. He's at one of the guard spots here. Yeah. So on this play, he's at guard. I remember last year at Eastern Michigan, he moved around. But yeah, he's right here at right guard. Watch the block he puts on this guy from Washington. And boom, right? Double team. But I mean, he really takes him and moves him out of the play. Nice job there. Washington definitely not an easy place to play or against, I'm sure. Oh, this is the same play. Okay. All right. So we move on to another play for against Washington where he's at right guard in pass protection, and an excellent job. I mean, he can't do any better. He comes out of his stance quickly. Nice hands. The guy tries to get around him. No chance. He almost got his hand on that ball, though. So, yeah, there's a lot to like about Carson Lee, as a matter of fact. I don't think a lot of people realize that he's got a real shot to win one of these jobs. Maybe even over and that's a nice play by him here at center. Push. He basically picked up two guys, right? You got the initial number 55, push him out of the way. Then you pick up the stunt, and you take him out of there. Nicely done. Oh, that's the same play. Sometimes it's hard to tell. All right, so this is the reverse angle. Him in center right here. Somebody tried to come in on him. Oh, nice pancake. So this guy tries to run through his space. It doesn't work out well for him. Boom. Get on the ground, sir. So, there's a lot to like about my guy, Carson Lee, right? No doubt about it, y'all. So Carson's a guy that when we talk about, him being on the Shrine Bowl, the whole nine, like he's deserving. Believe that. He's got over 1,000 snaps in his career. I've told you guys multiple times. I think I said I've told you guys multiple times that he's got good film, right? So that's just my opinion on it. Like I said, you take what you can, you leave the rest. So, all right. Other players on the Shrine Bowl list would be. So we've got Jamori Robinson, Michael Coach Jr., Carson Lee. We got Fred Perry on the list, which obviously we know he's an all-conference player at Jacksonville State. Cam Vaughn, obviously deserving on the list, almost 1,000 yards last year at Jack State, was the number one wide receiver. We're expecting him to be our number one guy this year, or number two at worst. Jaheim White, one of the best running backs in the country, and definitely better than Desmond Reed. Actually, he endorsed Desmond Reed in every possible way. It just hasn't been shown yet. It'll be shown this year, especially when we play against Pitt head-to-head. Jaheim White has at least 100 more yards than Des Reed could ever want. Yeah, it's going to happen. Chase Wilson on the list. You guys know I love Chase. He's deserving on the list as well. These are all some of our best players that we brought in. So it's not obviously, let's share screen really quick. We'll share screen with you guys as we roll through one more time. All right. My apologies, guys. Seems like I'm having a little bit of a connection issue really quick here. Nope. There it is. Okay. Back to the list. I guess I lost it here for a second. I was trying to figure out what the heck happened. My fault, y'all. There we go. There it is. It's back. Walter Youngbear is the last guy on the list. So Michael Coach Jr., Carson Lee, Fred Perry, Jamori Robinson, Cam Vaughn, Jaheim White, Chase Wilson, and Walter Youngbear are the guys. So, whether you think they deserve to be on the list or not, that's probably up for debate. But, one thing that can't be debated, in my opinion, is all these guys can play. So all these guys can play. I don't know how good they all will or won't be, but I think they're all capable of starting, definitely, especially when you get to the first couple guys on the list. Obviously, Michael Coach Jr. is obvious. Fred Perry, pretty obvious. Jamori Robinson, pretty obvious. Cam White, Jaheim White, Chase Wilson. Like all those guys are, if they're not good, we're in big, big trouble. Big trouble this season. So We'll keep our eyes on it for sure. Thank you guys for joining in, though. I just wanted to update you guys on this situation for sure. Overall, I'm excited about it. We'll keep an eye on these 8 dudes. But when I say I got some news for you here in a little bit, I do. I got some really good news for you guys because I got some intel today that are going to make you really excited about basketball. And I can't talk about it yet, but let's just say it has to do with the secret scrimmage. And let's just say it has to do with how well they played in the secret scrimmage. All right, guys, I will talk to you later. I got to run. I got to go to Best Buy and do some things, but we will talk here in a bit for sure. Until then, guys, make sure you check out the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Definitely check out Locked On Portal. They do an excellent job over there with the latest portal signings, the whole 9. And I'll see you guys in a bit. I'm out of here.